Hello, and thank you very much for joining us today on Tyrant Slayer Studios. We have a very egregious case to present to you today. This one out of Louisiana involving a very fine American citizen who goes by the name of Kelly. This incident took place on her property, and it involves the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, who really doesn't have much to write home about in regards to this case. We're going to go ahead and dive into her video here so you can see what's kind of going on. After that, we'll go ahead and make a phone call down to the sheriff's office, find out what their modus operandi is, their standard operating procedure regarding incidents like this, and, the developments in this case. We're going to go ahead and do a FOIA. We're going to get a case number. We're going to go ahead and request body cam footage. We're going to go the whole nine, and we're going to circle the wagons for this innocent American citizen whose dogs were abducted, kidnapped, essentially stolen out of her yard from behind a fence, unbeknownst to the owners. I mean, it's almost like these guys showed up stealth and just decided to steal a couple dogs. They didn't leave any paperwork. They didn't leave any contact information. They didn't even alert the owner of the dogs that they were being taken from the owner. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. Then we'll go ahead and make some phone calls. Stay tuned.
Hey, lock this door behind me, please. Why are y'all still on my property? Y'all aren't private property? Why?
We've notified them. They're saying they're coming out to investigate possible animal cruelty. So.
Really? And that's why you're on my property?
Ma'am, just listen. I'm not going to argue, but
I don't want to argue either.
we don't know the condition of the dog that's inside. That's what we were.
Oh, because you care about my dog?
I have a dog in my car. I do care about dogs.
I have four of them. I have four of them.
Okay.
And y'all are here, why? As hired goons from the state, because why? Why? Exactly what law are y'all enforcing right now?
We are investigating a possible animal cruelty.
Because why?
Because there's obvious injuries to that dog. Because there's blood all over it, correct?
Well, you know, when dogs get into a tuckus, things happen.
I know that.
And then responsible owners actually break them up. And then why are the police on my property for what?
Because
for what? I just really want to know. What are police on my property for?
That it's not injured beyond.
Oh, you don't have to see anything. I have no need to prove anything to you at all.
Okay.
At all. No,
no,
I'm not being difficult. I'm an American citizen. I have rights.
I agree.
Do you not agree? I have rights. Y'all may not agree.
So your neighbor out here had a dog that was injured. Hypothetical, okay. Hypothetical.
You know, dogs are killed out here every fucking day of the goddamn week. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know that. You know that. Why are you walking up on me? Stay out of my space.
What's the matter?
So you're going to show us the other dog. All we need to do is see the injuries on the other dog so we can go. That's all we look at.
No,
right.
you're not going to get to see my dog.
I get that.
She's my dog.
All we're asking is to see the injuries, to see if it's consistent with the stories we got. If it's good, we
go.
Okay?
No.
That's all we're trying to do.
No. Bring a warrant.
That's all we're trying to do.
No.
We're just trying to end this.
No, you guys are the state's hired goons. That's what you are.
I get that.
You're enforcers of nothing that is going wrong. We're responsible dog owners. We actually love our dogs.
One dog was out here.
And somehow we're doing something wrong because you're wearing a costume and a badge, right? And I'm a nobody? No, I think I'm as responsible as you are, mister. Get the fuck off my property. Well, then stay here and y'all languish in this crap. And be happy with the jobs you do. You know what? I have to wonder, what kind of people actually investigate private citizens who are doing nothing wrong, law-abiding citizens, who are just minding their own business, who are dealing with dogs. Shitheads, that's all you are. And I hope you should be happy. No, you make excuses for why you're that. You're shitheads, all of you. Be safe in your shitheadedness.
And there you have it, folks. I mean, her position is pretty clear. I mean, there's just the tip of the iceberg. Evidently, someone placed a call to the sheriffs claiming without any evidence or anything like that. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a false police report. But it appears somebody would have called the sheriff's department and insinuated that there was dog fighting taking place. You know, the actual dog fighting where there's exchanging of money and gambling and actually pitting a couple dogs against each other in a dog fight. That was reported to the sheriffs, and I guess instead of investigating with the caller or the complainant, they just instantly show up on the property. Now, because there was a dog on the property that had sustained some injuries getting into a tiff with its sibling dog, not its opponent in a dog fight, but, you know, a tiff between siblings. I mean, anyone who owns dogs knows that dogs do get into fights sometimes. And as you could hear the owner clearly say, they were separated immediately, and the owners take care of their dogs. They clearly, Kelly obviously loves her dogs very much. So, you know, the police are absolutely on a line here. We're going to go ahead and place a phone call and get to the bottom of what's going on and help Kelly hold these hired state goons. I just love how she said that. The hired state goons are going to be held accountable to the letter of the law. And that's exactly what we're doing here today. So let's get them on the horn and see if we can't get some answers on behalf of our fine American citizen, Kelly. Hi, good afternoon. I'm calling on behalf of Activism News Network here, and I'm calling regarding a case involving a Kelly who is located at Lafayette, Louisiana, 70507. Evidently, there was an incident that took place over there in February where your sheriffs, in cooperation with animal control, essentially abducted her dogs from private property, despite the fact that there was no crime being committed and things of that nature. And it seems to me, going over the information I have so far, that you know, this was more or less retaliatory on behalf of your sheriffs, who she refused to identify herself to, who she was not required to identify herself to, being that there was no crime committed. So basically, I'm calling you today to see if I could talk to a supervisor about this case, acquire a case number, put in a FOIA request for any body cams that you guys have. I want the complete day of body cam footage from every sheriff on the scene earlier in the day, and any sheriff or officers who might have been on scene later when they abducted her dogs without her knowledge and consent. And I'd also like to acquire copies of the police reports, the sheriff's reports. Every single document you guys have in that building, I want a copy of it, so that I can go ahead and cover this story as thoroughly and tremendously as I possibly can. Can you get someone on the horn that can assist me with that, please?
You'll have to submit a public records request.
Yeah, and also just to, you know, comment on the case, you know.
Would you like to speak to the public information officer?
Sure, that would be fantastic.
Hold on one moment.
Watch, they're going to get me a voicemail, watch. It'll go right to a machine.
Your call is being forwarded to a Mitel voicemail system. Extension 3402 is not available. Please leave a message at the tone. When finished, you may hang up or press pound for additional options.
Good afternoon. This is Joe Johnny Good Citizen calling on behalf of Activism News Network. I'm calling regarding a case, an incident that took place on, I believe, February the 27th, involving a Miss Kelly of Lafayette, Louisiana, 70507. Please give me a call back, or I'll try calling you back. I'm not going to give you my number, but I'm basically looking to get a comment on the egregious incident involving the sheriffs of the Lafayette Parish. I guess I'll try you back in a little while. I'll be trying you until I reach you. I'm going to need body cam footage. I'm going to need reports. I'm going to need case numbers. I'm going to need names. And we're going to go ahead and publish this story on Roku and on YouTube and on Dateline and on 60 Minutes and everywhere else we have to go ahead and help you and your sheriffs down there follow the law. You can expect to hear from me until I get a hold of you. I hope I don't have to leave very many of these messages. Thank you.
The Sheriff's Office, how can I help you?
Hey, how you doing? ANN again, Activism News Network. I just left a message for your PIO. Now I'm going to need a supervisor, somebody that can go ahead and give me a case number on this incident, and someone who can help expedite the process of my FOIA here, where I can obtain body cam footage, police reports, or sheriff's reports, whatever you guys want to call them.
We're going to have to go to the Public Information Officer.
The PIO handles records. You guys don't have a records administration down there?
We do.
Okay, well, records is going to be the one that gives me the case number, pal, not your PIO. I need your records department so that I can go ahead and obtain the information that I'm going to need to pull these records. Your PIO isn't going to give that to me.
If you'd like to speak to records, I can transfer you to records. However, they're not going to give you any information other than maybe that report number. If you'd like to get everything, the Public Information Officer can provide all that for you.
Yeah, all right. Well, I left him a message, and I didn't leave him my number. Can you tell me when the best time to reach your PIO would be?
I do not know. They don't stay in their office all the time.
Is there a PIO there right now that can answer the phone if you transfer me?
I don't know, sir.
All right.
I'm not their secretary.
I know, but you do work in the building, right? You don't know, you just work there? I mean, you do work in the building, right? You wouldn't be able to just put me on hold and get someone on the horn for me from the Public Information Office?
If you'd like to speak to him, I can transfer you up there.
All right. Well, make sure when you transfer me, he's going to be available to answer the phone. That would be great.
Like I said, I don't know if they're there. There's many.
All right. Well, then why don't you transfer me over to records? Let's see if I get a voice message response from them, too. That guy doesn't like me very much. Hi, good afternoon. Who am I speaking with?
Michelle.
I'm sorry?
Michelle?
Michelle?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hey, I like that draw you got going on there. Nice southern draw. I'm calling today about an incident involving a Miss Kelly that took place, I believe, on February the 27th of 2021. She resides at Lafayette, Louisiana, 70507. I'm calling to an incident.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Search. Okay. What is her name?
Her name is Kelly. That's Kellie.
Okay.
This incident involves the abducting of her dogs. I guess your sheriff's department there, in cooperation with animal control, illegally took her dogs from her property. And I'm just calling today to go ahead and follow up with you folks, get a case number, and request body cams from any officers or sheriffs that were on scene at any point involved in this case. Anyone who was in this case, I'm requesting their body cam footage. I'd like their body cam footage. I'd like a complete report. I'd like all the reports if there's more than one.
Okay, well, here we can only give you an initial, which is just a brief something of what happened at the time of the incident.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do you guys wear body cams down there at Lafayette Parish?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to see.
Also, being that you're in records, if there's anything redacted from these reports, I'm going to go ahead and have to ask you to explain the redaction per each redaction that you may or may not make. So if there's something missing off of the report, I'm going to need you to initial it and then explain why it was removed.
Okay. Oh,
No, it's Kelly, Kellie.
yeah, that's what I thought you said. I'm not pulling up anything under her name.
What about the address?
Let's see.
Now, is it your standard operating procedure there to deny access to records of the people involved in these cases? Like say Kelly called you guys up and wanted to inspect these records or retain copy of these records for her own legal recourse. Would you guys actually make her FOIA request all of that stuff, or are you just going to hand it over, being that she is identified in these reports as the one being complained against?
No, it would go to her.
So she shouldn't have any issue acquiring any of these reports. She could just show up down there right now and get a copy of all this documentation.
But it would only be considered an initial. It would only be a one-page
Summary report. It wouldn't be the complete documentation. Now,
No,
why
that-
is
that
that?
would
Can you explain that to me?
that would have to be subpoenaed by her lawyer or her.
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. This is all public information, honey. You're absolutely wrong there. Any reports, any documentation by your sheriff's department is public information, is it not?
Well, in records, anything else that you may want would either have to go to our public records department.
So is there a part of this case? Is there a part of this case that's not kept in your records department?
Just an initial report, and that's just a one page with a brief couple of sentences saying what happened at the time of the incident.
Okay, so
And
there's an
I'm
incident
putting up-
report, and then the actual sheriff's report where he finishes the call, he comes back to the office and types it all up. That's kept within your records department, right?
We do, yes, we have,
All
but
right.
we don't.
And you
the
do
full
know that
report.
that's public information, right? That does not have to be subpoenaed by a lawyer or requested by a judge. You
it
do
has
know
to
that,
go-
right?
Well, it has to come from our public records department, not from us. In records, all we can give is just the initial one-page report.
Do you have access to those other documents in your records department? Do you have access to all the things that you're saying we wouldn't be able to access through you?
Yes, sir.
Well, then you're required by the statutes of Louisiana to provide that stuff. You're required to produce the records administrator, the keeper of records, the custodian of records is by the law, by Louisiana state statute, required to produce any records you have in that building. It's all public information. So if you guys want to try and restrict that information and force my dear friend Kelly here to try and subpoena that information, I'm guessing there's going to be a hell of a lawsuit coming down the pike on you guys.
Well, you can get it from our public records department again.
Now, I thought I was talking to public records. You're not the...
No, sir. This is records department. You have to go to our public records department, which is Juliet Stern. And I'm not seeing, first of all, I'm not seeing this come up. I'm trying to pull it up and I'm seeing nothing.
Yeah, she was telling me she was having a problem getting records. It seems like you guys are trying to sweep your illegal activities under the rug here. So this is very alarming.
Okay. Could you hold on, please? Hold on.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this is crazy, guys. This is absolutely crazy. These people are lawless. Kelly's going to have a hell of a lawsuit on her hands. And the sheriffs are going to cough up that money, too. However, I got to say, the female I'm discussing this with right now, she seems to be helpful. She seems to actually be trying to help me. So we got to give her some kudos there. You know, but dispatch who answered, and the sheriffs who responded to this woman's address and basically kidnapped her dogs. They're in some deep shit right now, I'll tell you that. We're going to get to the bottom of it here at Tyrant Slayer Studios and Activism News Network. We're currently on hold. So, okay. Here's the other thing that's blowing my mind a little bit, because I've pulled records at police departments. I've called police departments around the country. I've never once heard of two different departments for records. One is records, one is public records. See, like, what these people are failing to understand is everything they do is public record. Everything they do is public record. So how do they have two departments for records, one that's records and one that's public records? You know, that doesn't make any sense at all. In fact, it sounds very illegal. It sounds like Louisiana likes to try to hide its mistakes, doesn't like being transparent. So I think we ought to focus on the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Department as activists here. This woman needs our help, you know, acquiring the legal recourse and the justice that she deserves. Still on hold.
Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the date again?
I believe the incident took place, the initial call was on either February the 27th or February the 28th. And they had showed up early in the day and were shut down. Your sheriffs were shut down by this woman.
Yeah.
She hadn't committed a crime and she was refusing to identify. Then your sheriffs went back later that day and took her dogs without her consent, without her knowledge, without leaving any paperwork, without leaving a telephone number. I mean, essentially kidnapped her animals, despite the fact that there was no crime committed, no evidence of any crime being committed, and all that good stuff.
Let me transfer you to my supervisor, because I called communications and our system had gone down around that time, and we started a new system. Hold on just a minute. Let me transfer you.
All right. Thank you so much. Wow. So now it's a systems glitch. Magically, everything was erased. It's unobtainable. It's in one department. It's in another department. One department is public and the other isn't. That's asinine. Certainly seems that it's plausible to suggest that motherfucker. Hello. Minutes here, man. Yeah, it certainly seems plausible to suggest that these folks are trying to bury their criminal activities and their very egregious actions. Oh, boy. We got $1. Ladies and gentlemen, we have $1 waiting on a dime. Got $1 waiting on a dime here. $1 waiting on a dime. Going on about 20 minutes into this now. Into this one call. I've made 2 calls.
Yes, sir. You're looking for a report. Is it concerning animal cruelty?
Yeah, that was the allegation, the unsubstantiated allegation, yes.
Okay, so I have a case number for you.
Excellent.
All right, so the case number is going to be 21
Okay.
dash 0008
Okay.
7329.
Excellent.
Okay, so it didn't have your address listed. It was listed to the 2700 block, but not 2709.
Okay.
Looks like it was Deputy Van Meegen that went out.
What's his name again? I'm sorry.
Van Meegen.
There were 3 individuals that showed up at her address earlier before they actually abducted her dogs illegally. Can you identify those individuals for me as well?
I cannot. All I have is a CAD call that shows that we went out at approximately 1:30 in the afternoon due to an animal cruelty allegation. I don't have a completed report, so I don't have any more details on it, but I can transfer you to the front desk, and if you ask to speak to that deputy, they might be able to get you in contact with them to get some more details.
Okay, what's the deputy's name again?
Van Meegen. It's
Van Meegen?
Yes.
Okay, please spell that.
VanMieghem.
All right. Van Meegen.
Yes, and I'll switch you over. Just ask to speak to that deputy, and if they're able to get you in contact with them, just give them that case number, okay?
Okay, just a quick question before you transfer me.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little perplexed, a little confused with the very kind and very sweet, it seems, older female that I was just talking with from records. I'm a little confused with what she stated. It seems to me, and if I understand this correctly, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that you guys have 2 separate departments for records, one of which is records, and the other is called public records. Is that correct?
Yes. So
Okay.
Our public records department is part of our legal team, and so they determine like more in-depth release of public records versus us. We have a strict what's allowed to be released through us and what's not. If it's more in-depth than what we're allowed to, then we switch it over to our public records department, and as part of our legal team, they go as to what we're legally allowed to release versus just our, automatic release.
Interesting. See, I've called police departments and sheriffs all over the country, and I've been an activist for some time now, and I've done many, many record requests. And this is the only time I've ever heard of anything like this. Being that you guys are public servants and that this is an office operating on behalf of the public, all your records are public information. Are you aware of that? Every single record you guys keep is public information. It doesn't need to be subpoenaed. It doesn't need to be court-ordered out of your building. A simple Freedom of Information request is all I need, according to the Louisiana state statutes, to pull any record I want out of your building, including salaries, employee names, all of that stuff, especially if it's concerning a criminal case or a sheriff's report, a police report. All of that stuff is public record. You guys are aware of that, right?
Our public records department releases a lot more than we're allowed to instantly release. We have we're basically like frontline for customers to come in and receive something instantly. There are some things that do need to be redacted from reports from time to time.
I understand, like, if it's involving a minor or something.
I'm sorry?
Like, yeah, I understand that. Like, for example, if there's a minor involved in a police report, you're probably going to have to redact that information.
Yes.
However,
if it does involve a minor and stuff like that, we don't handle that from our department. So we release what's called an initial report. That's something that's public record every single time. That's what we release. If they're wanting a full report or anything like that, then we refer them to our public records department, who make sure that it falls under the legal guidelines for what we release.
see, I don't know that what you're doing there is even legal, because if I were down in Louisiana today and I wanted to inspect records, not take home, not retain copy, but inspect records, any record you guys have in-house, whether it's in records or in public records, as you guys call it, any record, is if you have it in-house and your record custodian is there, you're required by state statute to procure, to produce those records and give me a place to inspect them. Are you aware of that? That's pursuant to Louisiana state statute. So I don't understand the redundancy of the multiple departments in the certain classification of certain documents when all of it is public information and you're required by state statute, pursuant to Louisiana state statute, to produce that stuff is immediately upon request. If it's in your building, you have to produce it. You don't say, oh, we can't give that to you. We can only give you this preliminary report today. You'll have to go and do this and come back another time. No, that's totally illegal. You guys are aware of that, right?
That would be handled through our public records department, though, not through us.
Okay. Thank you for trying to help me clarify that. I'm looking for Officer Von Meegen, correct?
Yes.
All right, excellent.
Over now.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys believe this shit?
Lafayette Sheriff's Office, how can I help you?
Hi, I'd like to speak to Sheriff Von Meegen, please. Deputy Von Meegen?
I don't believe he's working right now, but I can transfer you to communications and see. Hold on one moment.
Communications, Deputy Stanley. How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm looking for Deputy Von Meegen, please.
I'm sorry, Deputy who?
Von Meegen.
Can you spell that name?
I believe it's Vanmeghan. Van Meegen. Von Meegen.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to transfer you to his office.
Excellent.
All right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me get your name and a number from you.
I'm not going to provide that information. I'm a journalist. I'm doing an investigative piece. I can't really disclose who I am. I can tell you I work for Activism News Network,
Okay.
but I'm not going to leave you guys my number. Can you give me a good time to call him? Like, I know you're not going to give me his work schedule, but you may be aware of when he's expected to be in the office. Can you tell me when I might be able to reach him?
Yes, sir. He comes back tomorrow. You can call tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.?
I'm sorry.
What time would be best to call?
1 second, sir.
Yep.
Friday. He comes back Friday. You can call around 6 p.m.
6 p.m. And that's Eastern time?
Yes, sir.
All right. Please leave him a note and make sure he's expecting my call. I would hate to miss him.
If I can't get any information from you, I can't leave a message for him.
You can tell him that Activism News Network is calling regarding the incident that took place involving the alleged and unsubstantiated claim or allegation, rather, of animal cruelty. He'll know exactly what it is. He was involved in the case, and he has some information I need from him. So if you could just kindly let him know that I'm going to be calling at 6 p.m. on Friday, Eastern Time, and to be available for my call, that would be sincerely appreciated.
Just call this number, sir, and they'll get in touch with them, okay?
Yeah, can you leave a note for him to expect my call? Can you leave that message for him that Activism News Network is trying to reach him and will be following up with him at 6 p.m. Eastern on Friday? Can you do that for me, please?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Who am I speaking with?
This is Deputy Sandy.
All right, thank you very much, Deputy. Have a good day. Well, there you have that big shit show, folks. Can you fucking believe this? So, we kind of hit a roadblock here, but we're going to pick this back up on Friday and get on it like 10 men. It would appear that it's plausible to suggest that the Parish Lafayette Sheriff's Department is diligently working to hide its mistakes and cover up its wrongdoings and trying to I mean, these guys must be screwing up so much on such a regular basis that they got 2 different record departments, and they think they don't have to disclose this to the public, and we can hide this, and only that goes out to the public, and we'll just redact anything that makes us look like shit. Well, I got news for you folks. That's going to come to a screeching halt. There ain't a whole lot more I could do with this today. I am going to get in touch with Kelly, see if she'll be interested in discussing this further on a panel. She could probably provide us with a bit more insight in any updates that she may be aware of, and we're not. So perhaps Friday, when we follow up with the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Department and try to get Deputy Von Megan on the horn, we can have Kelly join us on a panel and provide us with even more information and even more insight so that we can get our heads around this and figure out how best to proceed in helping her acquire the legal recourse and the justice that she so much deserves. What happened to her and her dogs is absolutely asinine and unbelievable. If the state can just show up and take your animals in your backyard without even telling you, I mean, we got some serious problems here. So with that, I bid you farewell. We'll follow up on this particular case on Friday. I hope to see you guys there. Ciao for now.